Happy Monday. It's Jamie from Play to Learn Preschool. Thank you for joining me. If you're here live on the live video, let me know in the comments so I can say hi to you. Hi everybody. I hope you had a great weekend. We had the craziest weekend and day here in Northern Virginia on Friday. The DC metro area where we live had a severe wind storm. Some kind of a, sorry, my camera's being weird. Some kind of like a wind, severe wind warning, advisory, something. So they actually closed school on Friday. It wasn't a snow day. It was like an inclement weather wind day. It was really super windy, like gusts like 60 or 70 miles an hour and sustained winds 40 miles an hour all day. It was insane. We didn't lose power here at my house, but a lot of people in our area did lose power. Some of the schools did. And so we had no school on Friday. Can you believe that? I told you we're snow wimps here, but apparently we're also wind wimps. So we were closed on Friday. Today is our first day back for a new week, and we're going to be continuing on with our colors and rainbows theme. Today, oh, I'm glad you're live. Hi, everybody. Today, we introduced color theory, which color theory is such an interesting topic for preschoolers. I could teach color theory for a month. I love color theory. I think it doesn't matter how many times kids get the practice with color theory, they still need more. Like they can never have enough, right? So the idea of color theory, of course, is that you can take primary colors, which are red, yellow, and blue, and mix them together to make secondary colors. And you can take any color and mix it with white to make shades lighter, any color with black to make shades darker. And I love this unit. I love the books we have for this unit. I love the art projects. I love the science. I love it. So today I'm going to share with you 5 activities that we did with our pre-K students today to introduce the idea of color theory to our students. It's interesting if you ask them before you start, what would happen if I mixed blue and red paint? Sometimes you get these crazy ideas like it will explode, or, I've had all kinds. Somebody said it would disappear. I'm like, really? We've been painting at the easel for a year, and you think if you mix two colors of paint, it will disappear? But anyway, they've got all these ideas about what will happen. But the truth is, when you mix primary colors, it's very predictable, right? And kids who are in preschool need lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of opportunities to try it. We always introduce this unit to our students with the story Little Blue and Little Yellow by Leo Leone. I really do love it. How can you tell? This is my favorite introduction to color theory book. My favorite book for color theories. If you haven't read it, it's adorable. It's about a little blue dot named Little Blue and his best friend who lives across the street named Little Yellow. And one day when the parents are out shopping, Little Blue leaves with Little Yellow. And when they give each other a hug, something happens. So he's going over to play with his friend across the street. They like to play hide and seek and ring a round of rosies, and they run and jump, and he's leaving to go visit his little friend across the street. When he finds her, they give each other a hug, and then look what happens. When Little Blue and Little Yellow hug each other, they turn green. Well, that's a problem because then when they're green, their parents don't recognize them. Mama Blue is like, you're not my Little Blue, you're green. And Mama Yellow is like, you're not my Little Yellow, you're green. So they cry, cry, cry until they turn back to blue and yellow. This is a great introduction. This is the story I read to my students for our morning meeting today. Usually we save the story for the end, but I really wanted to introduce it with Little Blue and Little Yellow today. After we read this story, the art project that we had set up at our art table was a Little Blue and Little Yellow art project. So I made Play-Doh over the weekend. I used my favorite Play-Doh recipe, which I linked in the video description. It's a cooked dough, a salt dough with flour, water, oil, salt, and cream of tartar. And I used gel food coloring. You could use any old food coloring, or you could use watercolors, but I like the gel because it makes these really bright, beautiful colors. And what I did was just take little bitty scoops. I used this might even be Pampered Chef, or it might be from the grocery store, my teeny tiny little cookie scooper or melon baller, and made little balls of little blue and little yellow. And I put them all over the table for the students. So there were enough that everybody could have a little blue and a little yellow. And so after we read the story, they could go over to the table and see what happens when little blue and little yellow give each other a hug. Oh, and they're hugging each other. And what happened? Little blue and little yellow turn green. And so they're playing with the Play-Doh. What I found from our students this morning is they were retelling the story a little bit. They were like, little green went up a mountain, little green played hide and seek, and they were acting out some parts of the story with their Play-Doh, which is so much fun to extend the learning. So I just made teeny tiny little balls. That's a good tip. You don't want to give them a great big hunk of blue and a great big hunk of yellow because it will take them a really long time, to mix them up and to give them a hug. So I like to use this teeny tiny little, I don't know if you can see it, it's like smaller than my 2 fingers, teeny tiny little melon baller, cookie, I don't know what it is, cookie dough thing, to make little bitty balls of Play-Doh for them to mix. That way too, if they've mixed it and they want to do it again, they're just little, little tiny little balls of Play-Doh. So that's what we did for our introduction. We read the book and made little blue and little yellow Play-Doh balls. At our art easel, we replaced the rainbow assortment of colors with just blue and yellow. And sometimes we will say, to the students, like, oh, I really wanted to paint some grass, but I don't have any green. But a lot of times after I've read that book, they take this on their own and they'll paint a big blue circle and a big yellow circle and sort of mix them in the middle. But just to put these out for the day is a really good way to extend the learning with little blue and little yellow. Behind me at the light table, we also have some of these color paddles. I think these are from Learning Resources. I also have big ones that I ordered probably forever ago, maybe like 15 years ago. And on the light table, we just put different options for them to mix blue and yellow. So just for today, I want them to just explore what happens when you mix blue and yellow. That every single time, whether it's Play-Doh, whether it's paint, whether it's colors at the light table, it always makes green. I know that seems so simple to adults, and when we're talking about it, we're like, duh, of course, every time you mix blue and yellow, it will make green. But in my experience from working with 3 to 5-year-olds, you could say today it makes green, and then tomorrow I could ask them, what do you think will happen if we mix blue and yellow? And somebody like, maybe today it'll make purple. I'm like, no, it always makes green. So rather than introduce all 3 of the primary colors, on the first day I really like to just stick to 2, and blue and green are the easiest ones. I mean, blue and yellow. You can tell I've had a long day, right? At the end of the day then for story time, since we've already read the book during morning meeting, I'm following it up with a similar story. And if you've been watching a lot of my videos, you know that I love to do similar stories back to back so that the students can start to make connections. They can say, wait a minute, we read this book this morning, and then I'm going to show you the other book. And then I say, that reminds me of the book we read this morning. And when they make those connections, we know that they're comprehending what they're listening to. We're laying that foundation for reading comprehension for them. So the book that I read at the end is this awesome book called Blue versus Yellow by Tom Sullivan. There's a link if you want to look it up in the video description or ask your library if they have it. And in this story, Blue thinks that it's the best color. The sky is blue, all the best foods are blue, there's so many really beautiful blue, like the biggest animal in the whole world is a blue whale, so blue is the best color. But then Yellow says, nuh-uh, yellow is the best color. The sun is yellow, all the best foods are yellow, the fastest animal on the earth, the jaguar, is yellow. And so they're like duking it out. Which is better? Is it blue or yellow? And when we're reading this book then, about halfway through when they're trying to decide which is better, then we might ask the students to take a vote. which color, I know it's backwards, hold on, look, I'll flip it so you can see the right way. Hold on, whoop. Watch this magic. Aha! Which color do you think is the best color? Do you think blue is the best color or yellow is the best color? And we even opened up the markers and let them smell, you know, the Mr. Sketch markers to decide, you know, which do you think is the best? Is blue the best color or is yellow the best color? And so we took this opinion poll, you know, and made like a graph on our pocket chart. And then this story, much like Little Blue and Little Yellow, has a surprise encounter in the middle. So, you know, in Little Blue and Little Yellow, they gave each other a hug and turned green. But in this story, what happens with blue and yellow, see, they're arguing about which is the best color. But in this story, what they're talking about is that race cars can be yellow and really cool trucks can be blue. And so they're arguing which is better, and then can you see where this is going? Boom! They crashed, and they said, whoa, what happened? We turned green. Wow, look at all this cool stuff that's green. And so then at the end, they're like, okay, we're having a truce. Blue and yellow are the best together, yay! This is my favorite. Stop. Excuse me, here comes red. Wait a minute. And so it's sort of an introduction into color theory, an adorable book, and then it leaves on the last page with blue versus yellow versus red, which is a segue into what we're going to be talking about tomorrow when we introduce that third primary color and do some activities with color mixing. So if you're looking to do a rainbow theory or a rainbow unit or a color theory unit, I definitely recommend starting simply with Little Blue and Little Yellow, just mixing two colors. It's 2 colors of paint, 2 colors of Play-Doh, 2 colors on the light table, reading these adorable books to get your kids thinking about what happens when you mix primary colors, because that's the sort of the basis for this scientific method. But like, it's always going to be the same when you mix these 2 colors. You always get green. So hopefully those ideas are something that you can use with your own students or a jumping point for you as you're planning activities for your preschoolers. I know, aren't they great? I love these 2 together, because then the kids are like, hey, that book, it reminds me of Little Blue and Little Yellow, which is what I'm always going for. I'm always hoping that they can make that connection, start to comprehend, draw similarities and differences, you know, that their brains are working when we're reading in our classrooms. I hope you guys have fun every day playing and learning with your kids. I hope you'll join us again tomorrow. Hopefully Jem and I will be together to give you a little centers tour, and I will see you next time. Bye everybody. Thanks for joining me.